Thanks for joining us for your news at noon. We are continuing to follow breaking news from Governor Henry McMaster and State Superintendent Molly Spearman. The governor announcing schools will remain closed for the rest of the school year. Superintendent Spearman calling this decision difficult, but the right one, adding that while school doors will remain closed, she says the lines of communication between teachers and families will stay open. Spearman did say she wants summer reading and learning programs to still happen, but says she's still working out how that'll look. Our Caroline Colburn was at that news conference that just wrapped up minutes ago with the governor and superintendent on some of those key issues. Let's head over to Caroline now. Caroline, I know you've been following the issue of school reopenings closely for weeks now. What more have you learned this afternoon?
Well, Emily, this afternoon we really just got the confirmation from the governor and State Superintendent Molly Spearman that in fact schools will not reopen this year.
Caroline, I did want to ask you, I know a lot of people are having a hard time wrapping their heads around the idea that schools will not open this year. But of course, this is at the same time that we're seeing some retail stores reopen, public beaches reopen in our state this same week. And I know this was one of the first questions posed to Governor McMaster. Can you tell us what his response was seeing these two different stories?
Well, Governor McMaster really just said that he's taking everything on a case-by-case basis.
Caroline, thank you. Great reporting, getting us those details again with the press conference just wrapping up with Governor McMaster and State Superintendent Molly Spearman. We will continue updating you on this breaking story throughout the day. Of course, we just learned schools will remain closed for the rest of this year. And Caroline will be back this afternoon with an update on how parents and teachers are reacting to today's news. A look at the latest number of cases of coronavirus in our state right now. According to the latest numbers from DHEC, 135 virus-related deaths have been reported. More than 4,600 cases have been confirmed since the outbreak began. And this is a look at the ages of people dying from COVID-19 in our state. The majority do tend to be more than 70 years old, but younger people are not immune. People in their 30s, 40s, and 50s in our state have also fallen victim to this virus. And no race is immune. There's also still a huge gap in the number of white versus African American deaths from COVID-19 in South Carolina. 57% of all of the people in our state who have died from the virus are African American, yet Black people make up just 27% of our state's population. DHEC is also now providing regular updates on the number of reported coronavirus cases in nursing homes, rehab centers, and residential care facilities. DHEC says 241 cases have been reported at those facilities statewide since April 3rd. More than a dozen of those places are here in the Midlands. Midlands Health and Rehabilitation Center in Columbia was listed as having 29 confirmed cases. That's the second highest among these facilities in the state. You can find the entire list right now in this story on WIS-TV.com. Numbers now across the country, taking a live look at the Johns Hopkins University map, which shows that more than 820,000 people have been infected with COVID-19 in the United States since the pandemic began. At least 45,000 people have died nationwide. And new at noon, Richland County Coroner Gary Watts and Sheriff Leon Lott announcing a new initiative aimed to help seniors during the pandemic. The two county leaders will be passing out what they're calling senior care relief bags to help some of our most vulnerable in a small way. The bags will include hand sanitizer, soap, toilet paper, paper towels, water, and more. Watts and Lott are working with local organizations like the AARP, hotels, and churches to fill the bags. Today, we're also learning the first U.S. death from COVID-19 was 3 weeks earlier than previously thought. Santa Clara County in Northern California says 2 people who died on February 6th and February 17th had coronavirus at the time of their deaths. Now, at the time of their deaths, COVID testing was only available through the CDC. Initially, the first known U.S. death from the virus was thought to be in Washington on February 29th. Developing now, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is responding to criticism of his stay-at-home order. It comes after hundreds attended a reopen NC protest outside of the state capitol building in Raleigh yesterday. Protesters are calling for the governor to ease restrictions and reopen businesses, but Governor Cooper is signaling that he thinks the state is not quite ready to open back up. This comes as his stay-at-home order is supposed to end in 1 week. Cooper says reopening needs to be done responsibly.
We understand that stay at home, we can't stay at home forever, and that this is not something that is sustainable long term. But what we have to do is to ease back into it to make sure that this virus does not spike, which it very easily could do.
The governor also says he understands people's frustrations and he gets they want to return to normal. And to our other neighbor to the west, Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp is also facing backlash. Some lawmakers, both in his state and those surrounding it, are saying he's reopening the state's economy too early. Kemp is planning to reopen certain businesses in the state in 2 days. This includes businesses like gyms and barbershops. All reopened businesses would still have to screen workers, enhance cleaning, have employees wear masks and gloves, and practice social distancing when possible. But South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham says he believes the state is going beyond what the White House recommends for reopening.
Nail parlors, barber shops, tattoo parlors this week or early next week. I can't think of a more intimate environment than going to the barber shop or getting your nails done or going to a movie right now. So my concern is that what they're doing in Georgia is probably more than the market will bear right now, and it could affect us.
But Graham is praising South Carolina's reopening plan, which began Monday with the reopening of some non-essential businesses. But those businesses still have to follow capacity requirements, and Governor McMaster's order banning groups of 3 or more in public remains in place. A 5 Points staple is shutting its doors for good. Yesterday's restaurant and tavern on Divine Street has served customers for more than 40 years. In a tweet Tuesday, the company announced it was closing, saying, quote, "This community made work feel like home for us before that was a thing, and nothing brought more joy than making you all comfortable. Take care and be good to one another," end quote. Continuing coverage in a breaking news story we brought you yesterday. A man is behind bars in Richland County this morning, accused of shooting and killing 2 women. Richland County deputies say Dontrell Rufus is charged with 2 counts of murder in the deaths of Sarah and Kiera Richbow. They say the 2 women were found shot at a home on South Partridge Circle around 8:30 Monday night. That's not far from Lower Richland Boulevard and Garner's Ferry Road. Both women went to the hospital where they later died. Rufus was arrested the next morning on Broad River Road. Let's check in now with meteorologist Kevin Arnone. Kevin, a little chilly out to start out our day, but a gorgeous day nonetheless. I know we do have an alert day on the way, though.
Yeah, Emily, it was definitely a cooler start. If you were up early enough, we saw those temperatures in the 40s this morning.
Kevin, thank you. Right now, some health officials are warning of an even worse second wave of COVID-19 once winter returns. The new fear keeping the CDC director awake at night.